Today, what we're going to be working on is a combination of dumbbells and body weight for doing a full body resistance workout. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit that like button for me. It helps support the channel and lets me know that you want more of this type of content. So thank you for your support, I appreciate it. So what we're going to start with is some leg exercises. Now, we're going to start with a warm-up. So we're going to do body weight squats for a warm-up. So what I do for this, have your feet about shoulder width apart, and then hands either by your ears, across your chest, whatever feels comfortable for you, or hands out in front for balance. You're gonna bend your knees going down where your hips are in line with the knee. So you want your hips at knee height, and then back up. So we're engaging all the muscles in the thigh, those quad muscles, some of the glutes and hamstrings, but primarily the quad muscles, getting blood flow into those muscles before we fully work them out. So this is a warm-up, getting the joints lubricated. Now, if you can't go quite as low at first, go down to where you feel comfortable, and then as you feel more and more warmed up, you can go a little lower each time. I'm doing about 10 to 15 reps of these, just to get the muscle warmed up. We're priming that muscle for working out. So our first exercise is going to be a split squat, and we're using body weight with this exercise. Now you can do this with a dumbbell as well, or adding weight, but for me, I'm starting with body weight only. So for this, I'm going to use a bench, but you could also do this with a chair. So what you're going to do is sit down on a bench or chair, put your foot out in front of you, and then that's where your front foot should be. Then step forward and put your back foot up on the bench. Hang on a moment. Just gonna move this a little bit forward so you can see a little easier. So have a seat on the bench, one foot out in front, stepping forward, putting the foot up on that bench. So we're working this front leg. So we're working the front leg, these quad muscles, some of the hamstrings, some of the glutes. Glutes being all the way in the back of the hip back here. Hang on a second. All right, hopefully that's going through all live. Let me know if you guys can hear me. So, this gets the right distance, and from here, you're gonna bend your knee down all the way as low as you can. Now, if you want to, you can do this with something to support, just for balance. Going down low, tap the knee, and then back up. You should feel that right here in the quads, the front of your thigh. I'm gonna switch to this camera real quick, actually. Just keep it here. Trying to do 10 each side. So I'm going down, controlled, and then back up. And same thing on the other side. Putting the right leg out in front, stepping forward, left leg up on the bench, and bending down. I'm working that front leg, all those muscles in the thigh. Now it's important, keep your knee in line with your toe, so don't let your knee deviate out or in, especially not in. Trying for 10 reps. Now, the exact number doesn't matter. You just want to go till you feel tired in that muscle. For me, that's about 10. And that's where I feel that burning in the muscle, where I'm building fatigue. Because that burning is actually lactic acid in the muscle. And that is helping start that process of building new muscle. So increasing that muscle size. Now, another thing we can do to increase muscle size is add sets. What I just did was our first set. So each leg, one time, doing 10 reps. Now I'm going to do a second set, maybe even a third set, of repeating that same exercise to cause more and more muscle growth, because I'm increasing the amount of tension in the muscle, increasing the metabolites and byproducts of working out that help signal the muscle to grow. So especially with legs, they tend to be more fatiguing. So I take just a couple of minutes between sets to recover, because I want my legs to be the limiting factor, not overheating, not running out of breath. So I like to take a couple minutes between sets before jumping into the next one, so I can make sure that my muscles are the things that are wearing out the fastest. I'm going to move the bench just a little bit while I'm thinking about it. Let's see. I think I'm actually just moving this camera while we're waiting. Yeah, that's better. Okay. All right, so going into a second set of legs, doing split squats. So having a seat on a bench or on a chair. One foot out in front, stepping forward. Other foot on top of the bench. All your weight is on this front leg. And bend down, tap the knee, come back up. Now I'm trying to keep my upper body straight up. I'm not leaning forward, because that will change which muscles are working in this movement. So I want more of the quads. So I'm trying to keep my upper body upright as much as I can. And same thing on the other side. The more upright you are, the more those quads are what's working. The more lean forward, the more those hamstrings and glutes are engaging. All right. Two more. And relax. What I like with this one is, well, one side's working, the other side is resting, and vice versa. So it lets the muscle recover a little bit faster in this exercise. Let me know if I'm a little bit too loud. Now, just taking a moment. So we're starting with legs, because legs are the most challenging for me. I'm going to try and hit it when it's fresh today. Last time I started with upper body. Today I'm going to start with legs to change things up, because that lets me hit different exercises when I'm the most fresh. when you're starting with the same exercise each week, sometimes what that can do is you are most ready and most mentally fresh and aware on the first exercise, and then by exercise 2, 3, 4, you might be a little bit less mentally there. Just fatigue sets in and you're not getting as strong of a signal to the muscle at that point. So sometimes it's good to vary up your exercises so you're making sure that you're having high quality sets for each exercise at least once during a month period. So sometimes it's good to change it up because of that, because you actually get nerve fatigue. Sometimes the muscle doesn't fatigue, but the nerve trying to activate it does. So that can add up as you work out. So shifting where each exercise is in the workout can help reduce some of that for a particular exercise. All right, I'm gonna try one more set for the legs. Trying for 3 sets for legs today. I find legs are more fatiguing, take more time to recover. So I like to do Monday and Friday, doing full body, including the legs, to give myself a lot of recovery time before the next time I need to do legs again. So last set. I'm actually gonna take just a minute more, because as soon as I sat down, I can feel this is still burning in the top of my thigh. So having a little bit more rest time is, I think, good here. I might need to stop at 2 sets, and that's okay, because this is still burning pretty badly. And so I'm gonna try a rep or 2, see how my legs feel. Might stop at 2 today, just because I want to be able to recover. If I'm going too hard, too fast on a new exercise, sometimes it can actually lead to downtime in a workout that I don't want to have. Yeah, I'm gonna stop at 2. So that's an important thing. If you are going into another set, you try the first rep and just feel like there's no strength left in the muscle. It's a good sign that you actually hit that limit for that workout. Try coming back to it another day in the week, because it's no good if you do one more set and that gets you so sore that you can't do another workout of that muscle in that week. So it's always a balancing act of how much volume are you doing in one workout versus how much volume are you doing overall in the week. We want to try and and volume is how many sets did you get done in a week. So it's no good if I get a little bit more done in one workout and miss an entire workout later in the week because I'm still sore. It's much better to do a little less and then be able to repeat it. So doing that consistency. So now we're gonna move to upper body exercises, doing an incline press. Now, if you don't have an incline or a way of doing more of a incline on the bench, then you can also do flat press. It'll work the same muscles, just in slightly different proportions. So I'm gonna grab 2 dumbbells for this. I set them on my knees. I have my bench at a 30-degree angle for this. Hey B2, welcome to the live stream. Good to see you. So we're going into incline bench. I'm doing it at a 30-degree angle today. So going here, dumbbells right at the sides of your shoulders. So I'm really keeping my hands at elbow width. And from here, I'm pushing out to the front, trying to keep those shoulders broad so your hands are right at shoulder width. So don't narrow the shoulders. I'm pushing out towards the front, really opening up my chest and pushing out towards the front. Working the pectorals and the tricep, with a little bit of anterior deltoid on this. Now the incline emphasizes the upper pectoral muscles, that upper chest, a bit more. So I have it somewhat in between. So I'm getting a little bit more upper chest. And I'm going for about 10 reps of these to get warmed up in that muscle. So yeah, classic incline, exactly B2. So I like, they're the classics for the reason, and especially starting out, anyone who's just starting out resistance training or has been sort of intermediate, a lot of the times the classics are the fundamental exercises that are really beneficial. So you don't have to do anything crazy or unique because you'll see plenty of growth by just sticking to the fundamentals and building up that volume, building up that weight. So whether it's increasing the dumbbell gradually over time or increasing the number of reps, the classics are really good for that. They're fundamental exercises. I really like the incline because I feel like it's a more practical movement for lifting things overhead. Very, very common to lift, say, a box, something onto a top shelf. Lifting something heavy overhead really benefits from those press up muscles. That's why I really like the incline, because it simulates that. It's a very practical movement in that. Now we're gonna do a bent over row, and this would be all good mechanics for lifting up something heavy off the ground. Same sort of idea. So what you're gonna do is one dumbbell in each hand, you're gonna hinge at your hips. So I'm keeping my back straight and pushing my hips backwards. See how my head stays up to keep my back straight. From here, you're going to let your arms hang and then pull up to your chest. So up to the chest and rib cage area. Pinching those shoulder blades together. You should feel that warming up your shoulders. And relax. And that was a bent over row. So that was our warm up for our first set of upper body. So we're doing a press and a pull movement. Now what that means is we're doing a superset where it's complementary muscles working in pairs. So one direction is the front muscles. The other one is pulling, doing the back muscles. So the muscles behind the shoulder blade and in the lats. So B2 says bent over rows with a barbell is what I find more optimal. So yeah, we're doing a barbell row. It's the same movement, but you have a bar here pulling up to your chest, and that's totally fine too. Depends on the person. Some people, they get up to here and they feel like it hits their chest before they can really do a full range of the shoulder blade pinch. But if it feels better to you, that's totally fine. It's a great exercise. It hits the same muscle groups. You aren't able to switch your grip as much with a barbell, but if you feel fine with the thumbs point in grip, that high grip, as opposed to doing it more of a low grip down here where your thumbs are pointed up. If that feels comfortable on your shoulder, then barbell is a great option. I personally use dumbbells with all of my exercises because I don't have a barbell anymore. I used to, but I just found that I used dumbbells on all my exercises and they're a little bit more versatile. So I gave away my barbell. That was a long time ago now, but if that works well for you, then it's a great option. It's just I didn't have storage space for it at the time. But if you're working out at the gym, you could also do this with a barbell, doing the incline press. Just be careful because you would want a spotter for this. Because if you get to the point where you can't lift it anymore, with dumbbells, I can set them down at my sides. With a barbell, there is no option for that. So if I get to this point, say I got here, I couldn't lift the barbell up off my chest anymore. With a barbell, someone has to help me with that. With dumbbells, I can bring them sort of in and then down to the sides so it's not gonna crush my throat or chest. So if I need to get out from under them, it's much easier to set them down to the sides and then I'm safe. As opposed to a barbell, I can't break apart the barbell. So I'd have to sort of tip to one side and drop it to one side. It's a little harder to do. But especially if you're working out around other people, have someone to spot you. It's a great option. Make sure be safe. Have someone helping you lift it back up if you hit that point, especially if you're going to muscle failure where you feel that you can't even push it back up again. So a lot of these exercises can be adapted for barbells, kettlebells, resistance bands, dumbbells. And if you have any sort of questions, I'd love to help you figure out how to use the equipment you have. If you want to use similar equipment to what I have, there's affiliate links down below in the description. They help support the channel. So if you want to get what I have, it's a great way to do it while also supporting the channel at no extra cost to you. So now we're going to go to the bent over row. So this is working the lats and the muscles between the shoulder blades along with a little bit of the bicep in the upper arm. We're also getting a bit of that posterior deltoid in the back of the shoulder. So I'm going to keep my back straight as I push my hips back into a bent over position and then pulling up to my shoulders, sort of my chest rib cage area. Now the important thing is I'm going all the way back out to straight, then pulling up. And relax. And now take a minute, catch your breath. Noticing my heart rate is a little bit elevated. It is warmer today. So between sets, it's okay to take a minute or two, let your heart rate come back down, cool off a little bit, and then go back to doing the next set. Now, if you're concerned about your lower back, what you can do is a supported row where you're laying on your stomach, sort of the opposite of an incline, and pulling up to the back like this. If you're worried about your low back, that's a great way of doing it. It works the same muscles, Just have to be careful of anything on the bench that you might bump into. This bar can get a little bit in the way for me. It's the only thing that I find a little challenging. So sometimes I have to move down a little bit away from that bar. So that was our first set. I'm trying to do 3 sets of these today because we're trying to add in more sets to challenge the muscle additionally. So, just waiting for my heart rate to come back down a little bit more. I think it's a little bit warm. And temperature is actually the most fatiguing thing, but not in a way that helps grow the muscle. It can just systemically slow your whole body down. So make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you're cooling off and not overheating. All right, so I'm gonna grab the dumbbells, going back into an incline press. Now it's very important to continue to challenge the muscles. So we want to pick a weight that is challenging by about 10 reps. So I'm pushing up and then all the way back down to my chest. Want a very full range of motion, clean reps. I don't want to bounce, so no bouncing off your chest. Pushing my chest out, really opening up that pec muscle. Start to feel burning about now. And dropping those weights down. You can put them on your knees and sit up. Now, if we were to do this, if your back is hurting at all, you can turn around the other way and then lean forward onto the bench. So this is a variation of a bent over row. If your low back is feeling tired or hurting or tender, then this helps support to your upper body. We're still engaging the same muscles of a bent over row. So from here, still looking up, I'm gonna pull up to my rib cage and then all the way back down. So I'm still engaging those lats, biceps, and traps, those middle traps. And relax. So Shoya says, hey, I had my upper day yesterday. Today, hopefully, I'll go to the gym. And greetings. Hey, welcome Shoya, good to see you. So upper day yesterday, and today I'll hopefully go to the gym. So if you're doing upper, I hope you're doing lower today, giving your upper body some time to heal. Especially if you're not used to it, hitting the same muscle 2 days in a row can really build up that soreness and fatigue where you're not giving your body time to heal and recover. The more you do in one workout, the less likely it is that you'll be able to work 2 days in a row. But so hopefully, I think you said that you do upper body and lower body, then a rest and then a push-pull legs. So as long as you're doing something like that, where you're changing it up every day on what muscles you're working, that's totally fine. But good on you for trying to get to the gym consistently. That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna grab the dumbbells real quick. Hey, very good. Troy says that's correct. It's a good split. Today we're doing dumbbells and body weight, full body. So we just did some legs. Now we're working chest and back. Got one more set of chest and back to do. Oh yeah. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna set the dumbbells down. Whew. My arm is cramping actually. As I lifted up the dumbbell, this whole thing cramped for a minute. So I'm just gonna take a second and let that relax just a little bit more before going again. Oh. Joint, I think actually we're gonna stop at 2 sets because that is, I think about the limit for my pec today. What something to be aware of when you're working out, some days, depending on how you slept, depending on how you ate last a couple days, it can affect your workout. So for me personally, I haven't been sleeping as well the last couple nights. So because of that, my body is not as recovered from working out as I would expect it to be. So that's normal, and it's important to be aware of the signals your body is sending, saying, okay, this hurts, or this is tired or cramped, or having more trouble with that same exercise today. So instead of trying to push into that where I'm risking injury, I'm gonna back off from that a little bit so I can still get a great workout in, but pay attention to the signals my body is sending where I need to stop there and then come back on a later date and try it again. And in between then, I'm gonna prioritize recovery, so making sure I go to bed on time, making sure I get quality sleep. Things I can do for that are making sure that I have slept well, that I'm cool enough at night to sleep soundly. So, Trey says, I think working out full body is best if you're a beginner and the returnee or just starting to build activity level up. Absolutely, full body, I find, so you can get a really effective full body workout even as an intermediate or advanced. Sometimes though, people as they get more used to it of figuring out what they want, they like to break apart full body into multiple days, and they find that works better for them. It depends on you as a person, but I find that full body, as long as whether you're covering it all in one workout or you're breaking it apart into upper and lower in 2 different days, as long as you're hitting those muscle groups, that's what I think is really important, is making sure you're covering all of the muscles comprehensively. You're not skipping legs or skipping a particular part of your body even as you get more advanced. So some people I know like to skip legs a lot and just stay with upper body, and that's really not good for your body to miss out on all that on their legs. Your legs are your foundation, and you want to make sure they're strong too. So as long as you're maintaining the elements that make a full body workout, totally fine if you want to break that apart. Sometimes, as you get more and more advanced, it can be hard to fit all of a full body that you want to in a single day. That's normal, and that does happen. So, as you find a routine that works well for you, I like the full body because I'm working out with you guys and we're working all different levels, so we want to make sure we get everything in that we can. So with this, I'm going to do an overhead press. This is working those triceps in the back of the arm and the top of the shoulders. So I'm going to press up towards the ceiling and then back down, tap my shoulders, and then back up. Trying for about 10 reps of these. I think people would be surprised at how far a full body workout will take them without having to do any sort of split, or keeping that as their split, I should say. Now, nothing wrong with splitting into upper body, lower body, or push-pull legs. Those are both fine too. And as you find what works well for you, that's the really important part. Some people do full body their whole lifting career, or lifting, not career, but whole lifting year. Some people like to change it up, and whatever works well for you, that's the right split. As long as you're getting all the different pieces of each exercise. So now we're gonna do a preacher curl. Now I'm gonna do this with a bench. You could also do this with a chair with a pad for your elbow. So if you have a chair that has a hard back, just take a pillow or something and put it on the chair, or a towel, something just to pad that elbow. What's been bugging your sleep schedule? I think it's because it's been warm at night. I think that's what's going on, is I'm not sleeping cool enough, so I'm not getting deep sleep. So that's probably because it's hotter in July. So the last couple days it's been warm. I think that's what's going on. So it's just a reminder, I need to turn on a fan or something to keep the room cool. So the cooler, usually the better the sleep is for me. So we're gonna be doing a preacher curl. You're gonna put your elbow right on the top of a bench or a padded chair. Something padding for your elbow is good. From here, you're gonna drop your hand down, tap, and then back up. Now, if it's a flat chair that you don't tap, just go to where your elbow is almost straight, and then back up. So you feel that working in this muscle right in here, that brachialis. It's that muscle right underneath the bicep. And then same thing on the other side. Cold showers before bed is underrated. So personally, I actually like a slightly warm shower, and then, because what the shower does is it pulls a lot of blood to your skin. If it's warm, it pulls it all into your skin. You'll get a little bit flush. And then if you suddenly just flip the shower to cold, like you're saying, cold shower before bed, so it pulls all that blood to your skin, then rapidly cools that blood. So it can actually help with going to sleep. So that's what I like to do, is I like to do a little bit of a warm shower and then rapidly cool off with that evaporation. And plus maybe some of the cool water as well. So that would definitely be a great way of cooling off quickly. Just make sure you don't go so long that your body reacts negatively to that, where you wake up because it's so cold. So go in here, down, tap the bench, and back up. It's a good idea though, and I think that would be a good idea for me for the next couple days, to make sure that I'm cooling off at night and falling back asleep, or falling asleep effectively. Now, I'm trying to get the same number of reps on both sides. So sometimes I'll start with my non-dominant hand, because that's the side that's usually going to be less reps, and then I match it with my dominant hand. The other thing I found really effective for sleep is I take a magnesium supplement, where it's just magnesium carbonate. I found that works really well for me. Now, that's not saying that's going to work for everyone, but if you have a magnesium deficiency, you could try that and see if that helps improve sleep. I found it made a big difference for me. Now going back to the overhead press, having the dumbbells right over the top of my shoulders, and then I'm pressing up towards the ceiling, trying to keep my back straight, and my hands right over the top of my shoulders. And 12, and relax. So Troy says, I can really feel my brachialis working while doing hammer curls in a squeeze position. That's interesting. So all of us are a little bit different in how our muscles attach, but in general, a hammer curl is going to be more the brachioradialis and less the brachialis. It will still work the brachialis, still work the bicep, but usually people feel this muscle down here fatigue first. But that's interesting. So for you, you feel it more in that brachialis right up here to do a hammer curl. And it will work that muscle. It's just usually this muscle tires out first because more of the load is carried by that brachioradialis. So it must be just in that position. You feel it more in here. Now, one thing I would say is the muscle tends to grow in this position, in more the extended, not the squeezed. It's the stretch position rather than the squeeze. And it tends to be more that brachioradialis that lengthens in that position. So if your muscle's growing great with hammer curl, that's awesome, keep on doing it. You might hit a point though where you want to change it up and specialize a little differently into the brachialis. But if you're seeing the growth you want, usually or you're seeing the growth you want by doing that exercise, then keep on going with it. That's awesome. I don't think that's necessarily as typical, but so if you're someone who finds it's hard to grow the brachialis, hammer curl is usually not the best option. But if you're doing it and it's working, then keep going. That's awesome. Just because how the muscles attach, it's usually not going to prioritize that muscle to do a hammer curl. And same thing on the other side. So working in those arms. In this one, the muscle tends to grow the most in this bottom position where there's the highest tension. And 10. And so that's our workout for today. We worked the legs with the split squat, the chest with the incline press, the back with the upright rows or bent over rows, and the biceps and triceps and top of the shoulder with overhead press and preacher curl. So if you like this content and want to see more, then I host these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you guys for being here. I start at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hit that subscribe button and the bell to be here live. So Shoya says it feels really connecting outside of the upper arm. All right, perfect. Yeah, if you feel that muscle growing and under tension in doing hammer curl like this, totally fine. That's awesome. And like I said, it tends to be a little bit less the bicep and brachialis, but that might be sufficient to grow your biceps and your brachialis currently. And if you feel it, awesome. Keep on doing it. You might need to change it up down the road, but for right now, you're seeing the growth you want. Keep on doing it. That's great. I'm proud of you. So see you guys next time.